Tonight's headlines: BBM wants endo scrap for non-seasonal workers. Russian envoy praises Duterte neutrality. Philippines logs 3,572 weekly virus cases. Philippine businesses back return to workplace. Nearly 106,000 defective ballots set to be burned. Celtics wallops Nuggets. And Rollback ends 11-week successive oil price hikes. Good evening. Today is Monday, March 21, 2022. I'm Miguel Paltagonan and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. Former Senator and presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. said Monday he will end the end-of-contract scheme of contractualization of workers for non-seasonal employees. Marcos, during a forum with Go Negosyo, argued that President Rodrigo Duterte vetoed the Security of Tenure Bill in July 2019 precisely because not every employee can be covered by the said measure. The Security of Tenure Bill, which eliminates subcontracting on labor, limits job contracting to licensed and specialized services, and treats projects and seasonal employees as regular employees, was rejected by President Duterte in July 2019. The palace was unclear as to why the president rejected the measure, a campaign promise that he vowed to achieve within a month. Russia's ambassador to the Philippines called President Rodrigo Duterte's neutral stance on the invasion of Ukraine a balanced and wise position and said ties between Manila and Moscow can still be strengthened amid global sanctions against his country. The Philippines voted to support the UN General Assembly resolution last February 28, condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but Duterte has said in televised remarks last week that he was staying neutral and cited his friendship with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Despite global sanctions on Russia, Russian Ambassador Marat Pavlov said he believes the Philippines and Russia could still have normal diplomatic and trade relations, noting that two countries have enjoyed mutual beneficial interactions in many fields. Ukraine was home to nearly 400 Filipinos, and since the war broke out, the Philippine government was able to bring home dozens of Filipinos from the Eastern European state. The Philippines on Monday recorded a total of 3,572 new COVID-19 cases from March 14 to March 20, 13% lower than the cases reported last week. According to the Department of Health's weekly case bulletin, the daily case average for the week was 510, while data also showed that 805 severe and critical cases are currently admitted. Of 3,473 ICU beds, 17.8% were occupied, while 16.6% of non-ICU COVID-19 beds were in use, and of the new cases this week, there was only one more case tagged a severe or critical cases. Meanwhile, more than 65.1 million individuals, or 72.41% of the government's target population, are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and the DOH said 11.5 million have received their booster shots. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
We shall fly!
other news, major Philippine businesses have expressed support for the return to the workplace of various industries across the country, citing the impact it will have on economic growth moving forward. Local businesses said the return to workplace would be a significant step towards the country's path to a post-pandemic normalcy, 2 years after the COVID-19 pandemic hit. The statement was signed by Ayala Land Inc. President and Chief Executive Officer Bernard Vincent D., Chamber of Real Estate and Builders Association Inc. National President Noel Toti Carino, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry Inc., President Henry Lim Bonniong, and Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines President Michael Anthony Guarin. Signatories also include Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Jose Joey Concepcion III, Management Association of the Philippines President Alfredo Pascual, Mega World Chief Strategy Officer Kevin Tan, Philippine Construction Association President Engineer Will Decena. Newly appointed Commission on Elections Commissioner George Garcia said nearly 106,000 ballots for the May 9 polls have been considered defective and will be burned in front of candidates, political parties, or their representatives. Appearing before the House Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms, Garcia said that to date, a total of 105,853 ballots were found with smudges, improper cuts and colors, or unmatched timestamps. He then noted that 82.4% or 55,579,298 ballots out of these 67,432,616 total ballots had also been printed, and added that the remaining 18% of ballots yet to be printed could, however, not be assured to be defect-free. Those with errors will then be burned. He further pointed out that the COMELEC is aiming to accomplish 100% ballot printing by the second week of April, with the defective ballots having been reprinted already by then. They are to expedite the printing using the 4 fully operational machines, with one being imported from Germany by the National Printing Office. Once completed, the ballots will be shipped and distributed to provincial and city treasurers. In sports, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown finished with 30 points each as the Boston Celtics romped to a 124-104 road victory over Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets on Sunday. Tatum and Brown spearheaded a superb all-around offensive performance for Boston, whose defense successfully bottled up the threat of Denver's reigning NBA MVP Jokic, who was held to 23 points. Apart from a brief spell in the first quarter, Boston led throughout, pulling clear of Denver with a 35-16 second quarter, which included 4 3-pointers from 4 attempts by Peyton Pritchard. That left Boston up 68-43 at halftime, and although Denver tightened up after the interval, the result was never in doubt as Boston cruised to a 3rd straight victory. And in business, after 11 straight weeks of fuel price hikes and with significant increments in the past weeks, oil companies finally announced big-time rollbacks for petroleum products. Starting Tuesday morning, Caltex, Clean Fuel, Jetty, Petrogas, PTT Philippines, Total, Sea Oil, and Shell said they will reduce gasoline prices by 5.45 pesos per liter and 11.45 pesos per liter for diesel. Caltex, Sea Oil, and Shell said that they will also cut kerosene prices by 8.55 pesos per liter. Other oil companies are expected to follow suit. Last week, Department of Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi projected that oil prices this week will decrease amid the slowdown in oil demand due to the lockdown in China and a ceasefire negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. That wraps up the stories tonight. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, Empire East Lands Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of the Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Patagono, and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Mga impormasyong direktang makukuha mula sa sources at diretsahang usapan. Yan ang ating daming sa inyo sa programang Straight Talk. Samahan nyo kami sa makabuluhang talakayan live tuwing Martes alas 10 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube. Alamin ang latest entertainment at sa mga paborito nyong celebrities kasama si Pocholo Concepcion sa programang What's Up. Makibanding at kwentuhan kasama ang mga kilalang personalidad sa entertainment industry. Sama-sama natin silang kilalanin at silipin ang makulay nilang mundo every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Kaya sit back and relax lang kayo mga katribu. Hanapin at ilike ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Dahil sagot na namin ang masayang kwentuhan dito lang sa What's Up. Ang Daily Tribune may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there mga katribu!
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarsito are available on our community Viber.